Okay folks, it's Joseph D here again. We've just milled this side like I was started in the last video. I've finished it now. So now what we need to do is we need to reverse mill this, which means this work stays as it is. It doesn't get moved up or down. It stays exactly in the same position as the first pass that's just gone through, or rather the last pass now that's just happened. Because our aim is for a nice smooth finish like this all the way along on this side. So what we're doing is we're doing back milling, where when we're winding the cutter spinning towards us is going anti-clockwise, and we're winding the work through the cutter as it's doing that. So basically it's just taking a very fine skim off this as we're winding it forward, because we're not using the cutting edge, we're using the back edge to bring it back and forth. So I'll start this up, I'll show you. But here we can feed faster now, because it's basically taking nothing off, it's just giving us a smooth surface. We turn it fast but steady, and we advance it all the way through. Just a nice steady rhythm till it comes through on the other side. And then what we'll do is we'll stop it and we'll take this work out of the vise, and you can have a good look at it. Nearly there. Almost there. We bring the lathe saddle all the way to home, so it clears the workpiece. Okay, nearly there. Okie doke, that's it. Now we should have our workpiece finished. We have a slight bar here which we can just flake off with our hand, our fingers. All this gets dressed with a file anyway for finishing off. So I'll take this out of here now because I'm happy with it. That's as far as I wish to go. And take these spacers out from the back. That was purely just to get it to sit so that it's slightly raised above the jaws of the vise, so when I mill I don't catch the jaws of the vise with the milling cutter. So here we are, we take our nice chunk of steel out. Then you can scrutinise it. Not bad, eh? You can see those dovetails have been freshly cut. And this was the cutter. Just a 30mm cutter from eBay. I've had it a few years. None of the teeth are broken. I've looked after it and it does alright. The thing is to never force it. If you feel it's struggling, you just back off and just go very slowly. The slow is the speed is the essence. Some people, they said their machine to go too fast. I find if you do that, you'll soon dull the cutting edges of the cutter, and then it'll be useless. You won't be able to cut any decent dovetails, because this will, you know, the slow speed is better for doing this sort of work. So this is what we got so far. I'm actually very happy with that. I got a miller female one. You know, it's basically the same like this lathe has, a male and a female, and the female is slightly wider than this in order to allow for a grub strip to go between, where about 4 or 5 grub screws will go through. The piece of metal is about 5 inches long by 2.5 inches wide, so it's only small. I got a miller big void in the center here, which is where my milling table will go up and down, because this is going to be a small milling machine, a miniature one. So it's going to have another piece on the top of here which has another dovetail for a table to go backwards and forward, a T-slotted table, you know, like a conventional milling machine. and a handle here where you turn it to move it backward and forward. On the back will be a bracket attached. I don't know if I can find it, but it was here somewhere. There'll be a bracket which holds the milling column. I'll have to show you a later date. I can't get to it at the moment. But this bracket will be attached to this by two bolts, two 8mm Allen bolts, which will secure this solid. And the milling, you know, head will come off this column and it will hang over here to mill. So it'll be quite interesting. Like I said, I'll put the video on here once I've made it and finished it, and you can see how it was made. So I'll leave it here, guys. Thanks for watching my video. Best wishes, Joseph D.